parishioner who once asked me, well, she didn't ask me, she said, you know, Pastor, she said, I could never do what you do. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, when you get up and preach. And I'm like, well, yeah, you couldn't, you're a woman, but I didn't say that. I can never do what you do. And I said, well, why do you say that? She said, because, she said, I wouldn't have enough to say. She said, every Sunday you get up there and you give a sermon. And she said, I'd run out of things to say. And I've actually found it to be the exact opposite when I was a pastor. That when you do close study of the text, you find that it isn't a problem of not having enough to say. It's a problem of actually having too much to say and needing to narrow it down. And sometimes pastors aren't good at the narrowing down part. So if you ever heard a pastor who's just kind of going off on 20 different things, that's the guy that needs to narrow it down. Our work is basically to help people generate ideas that they can then use as they preach on a text for the people. And so that's what I'd like to think about with you. Right there, that's a photo of Matt Lackford, a former student of mine. He was also an artist, and he did a Lenten series where he painted a painting of a crucifixion of Jesus while he preached. So you kind of each week when you went, you saw him doing more painting, and he would preach while he was painting. So there's a guy who was incorporating the gifts and the skills that he was given into the preaching task. And although it may not be as dramatic as that for you, part of our work as we study the Scriptures as pastors is actually to internalize it, to let it hit home for us, so that as we speak to people, we're speaking to them things that we really believe. Not just stuff you've been taught, not stuff you discovered in some commentary, but the way this Word of God has affected you. This Word is a strong word, and it will change your